So disgusted with her behavior, her lack of respect. Jimmy needs to step up and be involved and take stock in what's going on around him.
For years, we've witnessed Chrissy Lampkin and Jim Jones go through one drama after another, but recently, things took a surprising turn. According to reports, Jim's own son, Joseph, finally reached his breaking point with Chrissy and didn't hold back. Before you assume this was just a spontaneous outburst, sources say this moment had been building up for a long time. Joseph wasn't reacting to just one argument, this was a culmination of years of frustration all coming out at once. But what exactly pushed him to this point, and why did Jim let it happen? Let's break it down. Jim and Chrissy's relationship has always been a roller coaster of highs and lows. They've been together for over 10 years, but their story has never been about stability or smooth sailing. In fact, commitment has been a major issue from the start. Chrissy wanted marriage, but Jim never seemed ready to take that step.
There's still pressure for you and Chrissy to get officially married.
No, you married?
I'm not married.
Your mama married?
My mother wasn't married either.
All right, then. So that should answer your question. Why you worried about me getting married?
I knew you was gonna come with it, Jim. I knew you was gonna come with it, but as a female, I still had to ask the question.
You talking to me about something that you haven't fulfilled or your mama hasn't fulfilled. So you should be worried about what's going on in my house. You should try to figure out what's going on in yours.
Okay, but as a fan watching the relationship on television, that is something that fans, we always kind of have that question.
As a fan, you fans need to turn around and see if your mama's married or if your father's married. That's what you fans need to do. And if that's not going on in your household, you fans shouldn't ask me any questions. You dig? I'm only letting people that has grown up in a household that's married, mother and father, and if you are in a marriage.
Fans of love and hip-hop will remember when Chrissy took matters into her own hands and proposed to Jim back in 2011. At the time, it seemed like a bold, empowered move. But looking back, it was clear that Jim wasn't fully committed to the idea of marriage. Even after he eventually proposed, there was no wedding. The engagement dragged on, and over the years, it became evident that Jim wasn't planning to walk down the aisle anytime soon. On top of that, there were always rumors of infidelity hanging over their relationship. Both Jim and Chrissy were accused of cheating, and the trust issues between them played out publicly. However, while fans viewed it as just another toxic celebrity relationship, there was one person who was closely watching it all unfold: Jim's son, Joseph. He wasn't just reading about their drama in the tabloids, he was living through it. He witnessed the late-night arguments, the broken promises, and the never-ending cycle of chaos. Over time, it began to change how he viewed Chrissy. To him, she wasn't just his father's partner, she was part of the problem. For years, Joseph kept his thoughts to himself, but behind the scenes, it was clear that he wasn't happy with Chrissy.
They are saying that apparently, after Jim Jones and Chrissy broke up, which a lot of people didn't even know they broke up, now he's married or engaged to Brooke Bailey. There's a lot to the story. Let's talk about it. First of all, let's take it back to Jim Jones and Chrissy being together and breaking up, okay? So, people didn't know that these two had broken up because they literally were together for like 20-something years. If you know anything about Chrissy Lampkin is a gangster chick. She used to go with Alpo. Y'all know the movie Paid in Full? She was one of the dudes that the story is based off of, main girl in New York back in the day.
Let me tell you guys something. This is the craziest viral that I've ever been in my whole entire life, because I wake up one day, I do my whole routine, read my devotionals and positive stuff, and then I go on my Instagram and I see fake pages you took Jim, and I'm like, I didn't block the page. I said, who is Jim? Because single, so I'm like, who is Jim? You know what I'm saying?
He never saw her as a mother figure and kept his distance from her. However, things recently escalated in a way that no one saw coming, and Joseph finally decided he couldn't keep quiet any longer. So what pushed him to his breaking point? According to reports, it all started when Chrissy confronted Jim over allegations that he was involved with love and hip-hop star Brooke Bailey. Now, Jim being linked to another woman wasn't exactly a shock. These kinds of rumors had followed him for years, but this time, things were different. Chrissy, who was already fed up with years of uncertainty, snapped. Sources say she confronted Jim at their house, and things quickly escalated into a heated argument. Joseph was there when it all went down, and for the first time, he openly challenged Chrissy's role in his father's life. This wasn't about a single argument, it was about years of frustration boiling over. Joseph reportedly told Chrissy that she was not part of his family, that she had overstayed her welcome, and that she was a big reason why his father's life was in constant turmoil.
Well, you know what? If you didn't leave me to figure it all out by myself, then maybe I can process it a little different. But because I have to deal with it by myself most of the time, this is what you get. I need a break from this.
He wasn't just lashing out at her in the heat of the moment, he was finally letting years of pent-up anger and disappointment spill out. It was clear that Joseph was done with Chrissy, and he wasn't afraid to tell her so. But things didn't end with words. As the argument between Chrissy and Jim intensified, Joseph, who had been silently observing the situation for years, didn't just stand by this time. According to sources, when Joseph stepped in to make his feelings known, Chrissy immediately dismissed him, telling him to stay out of grown folks' business. That's when things took a serious turn. Joseph, no longer a child, wasn't going to let Chrissy control the situation. People close to the family say that this was the moment when Joseph snapped. Years of frustration came pouring out, and he let Chrissy know exactly how he felt. He reportedly told her that she had no place in their family anymore and that it was time for her to leave for good.
I've been watching a lot of you trappers and you hustlers and you niggas that's running around doing God knows what. And you all got this. You heard? But this got 24-hour surveillance. You heard? Inside and outside the vehicle. You busting moves in this shit.
Joseph's reaction wasn't just about this one explosive night, it had been building for years.
But then things took an even darker turn. Witnesses claim that Joseph slapped Chrissy and demanded that she leave their house immediately. What happened next was shocking. Jim didn't step in. He didn't try to stop Joseph. He didn't defend Chrissy. He didn't even say a word to try to calm things down. His silence was telling. Jim had always been caught between Chrissy and his son, but in this moment, his lack of reaction spoke volumes. Some people believe Jim might have secretly sided with Joseph, while others think he was just overwhelmed and didn't know how to intervene. Either way, the fact that Jim didn't try to stop it was a major statement. Chrissy, stunned by the sudden turn of events, left the house. Reports say she didn't just storm out after another argument, this time, she left for good. It wasn't a temporary retreat. Chrissy was walking away from a relationship that had finally unraveled completely. For years, Chrissy had stayed loyal to Jim, thinking that would secure her place in his life. But after this, it became clear that her place in his life wasn't as secure as she thought. Joseph, on the other hand, seemed unapologetic about his actions. Sources say that he later told close family members that he was simply protecting his father. From his perspective, Chrissy had done nothing but bring chaos into Jim's life, and he felt it was finally time to end the cycle. And interestingly, some people agreed with Joseph. This wasn't the first time Chrissy had clashed with Jim's family. Tension between Chrissy and Jim's mother, Nancy Jones, had been a long-standing issue. Nancy never fully accepted Chrissy, and they had many explosive arguments throughout the years. Some people see Joseph's actions as just another chapter in the ongoing conflict between Chrissy and Jim's family, except this time, Joseph was the one leading the charge. With Chrissy gone, the big question was whether she would try to come back. Just when it seemed like her departure was final, new details emerged, showing that Joseph's frustration wasn't just about that one heated moment. It had been building for years. Sources close to the family revealed that one of the key issues for Joseph was Chrissy's influence over Jim's finances. Allegedly, Chrissy had tried to control Jim's money and business decisions, often steering him away from opportunities that could have helped him financially. Some sources claim Chrissy convinced Jim to turn down deals that could have been beneficial for him, while others believe she pressured him into spending money in ways that weren't wise. From Joseph's perspective, this wasn't just about a personal relationship, it was about his father's well-being. Joseph wasn't the only one who felt this way. Jim's mother, Mama Jones, had long been vocal about her dislike for Chrissy. Over the years, she openly criticized Chrissy, questioning her intentions and accusing her of not contributing enough to the relationship. Their tension played out in front of cameras on Love and Hip Hop, and fans saw just how deep their issues went. Mama Jones has always believed that Chrissy wasn't the right woman for Jim, and she's said multiple times that she didn't trust her. So when Joseph finally stood up to Chrissy, some people speculated that he was acting on resentment that had been building within the family for years. With all this history between them, some wondered if Jim had been feeling the same way but was just too hesitant to end things with Chrissy. Was Joseph simply doing what Jim secretly wanted to do all along? This situation raises a bigger question: was Chrissy's influence on Jim truly harmful, or was she just an easy target for the family's frustrations? Now, with Chrissy gone, the big question is what will happen next. Chrissy leaving the house in humiliation seems like a clear sign that their relationship may finally be over. But let's not forget this isn't the first time they've had major issues. The real difference now is that Joseph is involved. If Jim chooses to stand by his son, it could be the final nail in the coffin for Jim and Chrissy. The question is whether Jim will try to repair things with Chrissy or finally admit that their relationship has run its course. Some fans believe this is the end for Chrissy. They think she's gone for good, especially after everything that's happened. Others think Jim might try to fix things, given all the history and time they've spent together. One person commented, Joseph had every right to speak his mind. He has watched this drama play out for years, and if Jim won't step up, someone has to. Another fan said, Chrissy thought she was untouchable, but Jim's own son put her in her place. If the family never accepted her, maybe she was never meant to be there. Whatever the case, this situation has raised a lot of questions that remain unanswered. What do you think? Was Joseph right to step in, or did he take it too far? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.